Welcome one, welcome all back in to the Paladins Minor League for Split 2 of this 2019 season. Dolson starting off the day on the desk, joined by none other than Kresnik for our first matchup of the day. It's fun. Not only did we have a minor league team win the MSI, so that makes this minor league split even so much more interesting. Some of those players obviously jumped up into the PPL, so some roster swaps. A lot to look at today, but some great matchups on the board.
Yeah, there's tons of talent in this PML, and seeing these teams, fight against each other, kind of brawl to prove themselves to make it into the PPL or just make it to any LAN event moving forward. It's always great to see, especially after relegations, those new teams coming in, fighting their way in.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look at EU standings to see where those teams stack up. And our first matchup of the day is where in the standings will all, of course, be 0-0-0 across the board. But the last split ended with Penta, of course, on top, Sour team right behind them. That's the first matchup we get to look at today is the new Penta roster. They still have Ovim and Bolka there, but, of course, having to replace Cruncy, Simsaloo, and Erase, all going to PPL teams now. So the people that come in and fill in for them, obviously some different changes. They will have some subs in their game today, some of them filling in on other spots. So it's an interesting matchup to look at. Sour team, of course, bringing in William Birkin, Uber Spady, Ineffable, Sheepa, and Perdo, with Ninu swapping around just a little bit. Do you think that this is a Sour team that can contest a little bit better with Penta? Because we saw sort of down the stretch, Penta was winning most of these matchups.
It's going to depend on how Penta adapts to the new players. These are all people relatively, Coriol, now people I recognize from the EU scene. We're going to see how quickly they've gelled, but I like some of the players on Sour team. I think William Birkin, when he played on All Business last season, I liked him on Tank. I think he could be a solid addition to that team. How to see how quickly they adapt.
Well, there's going to be a great look into maybe how some of the top teams are starting off their split number 2 today. Without further ado, let's take a look at the map bans for game number 1. Serpent Beach and Ascension Peak, both off of the board here. And neither of those all that surprising. Ascension Peak maybe a little bit. Splitstone Quarry and Bazaar not able to be played.
Some of my favorite maps are gone.
Which one of those two are you most disappointed about?
I love watching Bazaar.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun map just to watch. It's because it's like it always goes to 4-3 most of the time, but every fight's exciting. So kind of sad to see. It's
a very well made map. That's always fun to watch. You got some fun 7-game sets on that 1.7. Bright Marsh though is where we're gonna head for map number 1. Both of these teams. Bright Marsh. I love to look at Bright Marsh because it brings out some of those different flex blastery type picks, and both of these teams have players that, whether it's the Willow. Remember, this is our first look at how the minor league adapts to some of the new meta and some of the new changes, whether we see Lex, whether we see Willow as much as we did in the PPL this past week, will remain to be seen. But this is a map where maybe you'd expect to see some of that.
I think so, yeah. It's a flat map. You can be really creative with the things that you pick on this map. Willow actually already banned for Penta, kind of interesting. I guess maybe they heard some whisperings about Sour team from Scrims. Makoa going unbanned, first picked by Sour. It's really strong on this map because you can hook people down from the rim, get a lot of space across the left side of the map that way.
I guess if you're in Penta's shoes here, you're banning out Willow and Tyra, which of course gives away Makoa, but since you ban 2 flex away, you open up the con for yourself, so you at least get one of those high priority off tanks for your side. Rounding out with the Pip as well. Normally this would be Simsaloo, obviously not.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised they're sticking with it.
He's up in the PPL now. Leon and Barrick being hovered here for Sour team. Pip though, it's a very player-dependent champion where some players really love themselves some Pip. Who on Penta plays it here today, that remains to be seen, though.
I was going to say, I think Penta are really happy with the Barrack pickup by Sour. Since they banned Willow and Tyra, that means point presence, like the point pressure DPSs, that's those two. They're going to open themselves up to a really sustainy comp. Getting a Nora Khan is exactly what they want. If they lock this Grok, that's even more in that line of having sustained DPS.
Grok.
Who is healing? Is this going to be a double tank triple support situation? I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to see what their
I guess in theory. If it's
it
my ranked
be,
game, it's a solo healer
It could be CC
Pip.
Totem Grok. I guess to
In
counter
theory.
the Makoa, that is something that I've seen. I've been on a team with Bitey. I've pretty much tried everything. It's all up in the air with him, so we'll have to see what they run out.
Well, a little spiciness right off the bat here for Penta. Drogos, Genos are going to be the last 2 picks for Sour team. Much more standard on their side. Makoa, Barrick, Leon, Drogos, Genos. We did see some Terminus
yesterday
yesterday in the console league. I mean, they threw out a lot of their reasons, on Twitter. Penta, though, I'll give you the floor. What do you make of their draft here?
It's going to be an aggressive triple tank. I think they're going to play on the CC totem. They might just end up deathballing on point. That's why they banned Willow Tyra. This is like, once they get that capture on the point, they're just going to walk as a unit. Think Elevate MSI.
Right.
Something similar to that. And
Terminus, I
Terminus,
love that. I've been asking for it.
Exactly. Terminus is going to kind of fill that role that Half-Shell Makoa did. He's going to negate all that damage, let them just walk straight in.
Well, Penta got something spicy to start off the second split of our Paladins minor league. Penta Sour Team, you're 1-2 from split number 1, facing off here in game number 1.
Me and Gore are beyond excited. We both immediately yelled as soon as we saw the Grok lock. We do love seeing Grok more than anything.
So one of the things we talked about, history of Penta, Simslu being on this team before, we've talked about how big of a master drafter he is, how much input he has, how much research he does. But Ovim has been around for a long time as well. And Ovim has a ton of different little things, I guess, to lean on and to make work out for them. And looking at the way Penta come into this map, it's not really what I expected to see today, but I'm really, really happy for it. I'm really excited to watch this. You've got the Maelstrom Grok for some damage. Terminus is going to be the one that I think my eyes are going to be on because I have no idea how he's going to perform, but there's a lot of damage on this team.
Yeah.
And it's all relying on a Mega Potion Pip to heal them.
Right, yeah. That's asking a lot, not only from Penta, but from Pip in general. Like most people, as Dave would say, most people see the plus sign be filled up in the top of the screen whenever they're like, we need a healer, and people immediately pick Pip, and then they think that that's the reason it is, that he's super good. But, just in the middle of me talking, all three of them could just, all four of them could just die with Khan being the only one left.
And he's trying to get away right now, but now is, just locked away. He's going to be between a rock and a hard place. One of those is Makoa. The other one is Perdo, who killed 4 of the 5 members of Penta throughout all that. The 5 streak burning for him already as they're going to come through. And there's 2 ways this composition for Penta works. And that was a showcase of one of the many ways that it doesn't, right? The main thing they're trying to do is just get onto the point and then hold on to it. Going Maelstrom instead of CC Totem means that this hook is still going to connect on a lot of them, which means it's a little easier to displace them, a little easier to pick them off. And because of that, you're looking at Jopi here, potentially just, and looking at his loadout, he's just running in a way to keep himself alive, try to keep the healing up and the totem up. But it's just not going the way they planned it.
Yeah, this is Perdo already with 2 kills, and the Genos once again managing to kill the Khan. We saw that Terminus tried to go all the way forward, try to make sure you get that last touch right before they capture the payload. Didn't go through. And man, Penta's I don't really mean to put it like this, but it is true. They are struggling right now. It's hard. It's going to be a hard-fought battle. And
in all fairness, just as a reminder for everyone, they are playing with 2 subs today as it comes through. Now, not typically on the team. And I can't remember the other name that I'm walking through for them, but it's just one of those things. They didn't have everybody available for this first week. Ninu, who's going to be on the team, who's not going to be around. So you're looking at a little bit of a ghost of what they're going to become. Whereas Sour Team, I can't say anything but good things about them right now. They're looking perfect. I'm happy to see Uber's Payday back up in the sky there on the Drogos, and so far it's been just phenomenal from Perdo.
Eva Mojo does come through, though. Terminus trying to go down, make sure he at least get the kill, but he transformed back just in time, enough for him to be safe and away from the Terminus. He picks up a kill of his own. The entire Penta team just gets Penta wiped by Sour Team. 5 individuals down, 2 of them just respawning. And a minute left on the clock with 2 ultimates up, Dome Shield coming up as well. Man, it's a hard life right now for Penta.
This is getting almost worrisome. This is a kind of composition that, especially when you run triple tank, it's supposed to be defensive. It's not supposed to get melted like this. And you're just having so much trouble. I mean, dealing with the pressure from the Drogos, having the Dragon Punch is really good to just deal with the Inara. And then, again, Perdo has been playing out of his mind right now. Ineffable gets the kill right there. But is this 13 streak Leon that is just driving everything home for them?
Yeah, he's definitely applying the shots, forcing them all back and away from the point. They all just get knocked away, and immediately Sour Team manages to not only net the first point, but the first 2. This is a replay to see what Perdo was doing in that amazing triple kill that he got in the very beginning of the game, a minute and 15 seconds in.
I mean, again, and then Give it a couple more seconds, he kills the fourth guy as well.
Yeah.
Like, he was ready for it, and that is a kill-less round there for Penta, an unfortunate thing. And it is going to be, I think, Jopi playing in for Bolka here, and now playing in for Ninu. So again, 2 subs on the side of Penta. But they also, you know, you're looking at it, you see Coriel, you see Cize, both players who have been around the scene for a long time, but haven't been, I want to say, as prominent. Coriel, I think, got some sub roles during the last split, but wasn't really mainstay. Did play with Ovum a long time ago as well in the PGS. And that's one of those things, both of these teams have had players kind of pulled away into the Premier League, and it just seems like Sour Team, at least for this week, kind of got the better end of the deal.
Oh man, the Dragon Punch comes through. The revival as well from Terminus. He does manage to get Uber's payday with it, which is really good. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Drogo's being down just a little bit. Perdo trying to be in the back line, but that was, man, he just got hit by a big burst of damage from Terminus right there. And Cize managing to get the kill on the William Birkin. Barrick being down, 1 frontliner, 1 DPS down. The rest of Sour Team is looking pretty low right now on members.
That's just the showcase of what this draft does, right? That, again, there's 2 ways this draft can go at the very beginning. Last round, you saw what happens when they get wiped. This round, you saw what happens when they get their setup. The death ball that is, we're going to control the point. It's just so difficult to displace them. And with Terminus having reanimate in this round, it's 6 lives you have to burn through instead of just the 5 that you had before. They didn't use the evil mojo going into it. It just now comes through, and it's just going to keep things rolling. They're trying to ride the momentum that they had from that point and see as far as they can go.
Yeah, man, oh man, are they pushing the payload? The rest of Sour Team is just falling back, and you put it in the words perfectly, Gore. This is what happens when you see this team start the death ball, because the momentum has not shifted. Penta has not giving them any opportunity to try and make sure that they can actually fight back through time and space. Doesn't find anybody, does get some damage. Dragon Punch coming through, but the wall kept him alive long enough for Cize to trade 1-for-1. Ovum is down, but they still got 2 other frontliners on the side of Penta.
Shiba going to be backing off right now, looking potentially for a good hook, but they're getting aggressive, and they are getting in the face of Sour Team as of right now. They do get rid of Cize, which is going to stop a lot of this pressure. Even though he's gone Mega Potion, Pip still hits like a truck in the right hands. And so they're just kind of slow it down. With Grok disappearing, they're going to be able to buy themselves some space and a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, nice wall coming out from Inara, making sure they actually don't get killed, but the rest of Sour Team really wants to run them down. They've been chasing for a while now. Seismic crashes up. They do manage to kill the Terminus, and really what it is that the Uber's payday is next on the menu. He does end up getting killed, but the rest of Sour Team just so aggressive. They knew when they had the advantage. They knew when they had the momentum, and they just pushed through, clean wiped them.
You know, I can't think of a guy to come through. You're having to replace Zerini, who now, for everyone again who doesn't know, is playing for the Pittsburgh Knights. Had a really good couple of sets last week in the Premier League. But you've got to replace someone like that. He has such a phenomenal impact on the game and brought a unique mindset to Point Tank that it's very difficult to find someone that can feasibly replace him coming through. William Birkin is pretty much the #1 guy, I think, who deserves to be on that list. Has been, again, around the scene for a long time, been very prominent in this Point Tank role, and does it really well, and so far they are nailing it.
Yeah, man, through time and space, finds its way onto the Terminus. He does it up down. Jopi's the next one to go down as well. 2 individuals on Penta are down. Ovum's the next one to fall. Khan has to back up. He didn't end up using an overpower. I apologize. I think he went for the command. Just grabs what I saw in his little silhouette right there, but they do end up wiping the rest of Penta, the ones that would be remaining onto the payload. No overtime whatsoever, and that would net Sour Team the 3rd point on Bright Marsh.
And this is where it gets a little scary for Penta.
Yeah.
Mainly because while their draft, especially with comeback mechanic, absolutely should be able to capture an objective, it's just very difficult to move in. I mean, 10-1, 14, 8-1, 10. The top 4 damage in the game, the only one that's really being able to break 40k is the Khan of all people. Like, it's just not enough on the side of Penta to make you feel confident in your ability to aggress into and then potentially push a payload. Like, this is, again, a defensive-minded team. While they have some aggressive champions, it just does not seem to be working for them in the terms of pushing into Sour Team and actually, like, getting kills, winning that fight.
Well, I really think that, if they were ever going to make a final stand, it would be now. Sour Team only really needs 1 more point. 4 ultimates to 4 ultimates online. And really, they're going to start pushing in immediately. They want to go for the fight. Ultimate hasn't been used yet, but Khan's the first one to fall thanks to Uber's payday. Now the rest of Sour Team, this is the first time, but the good evil mojo comes through. 2 for 2 trade. Perdo's trying to make sure he can kill Jopi. can't actually get him, though. The move is just too strong. Ancient Rage comes through as well. He's running him down, but the Terminus blocks are too strong. They are actually managing to soak up most of those Ancient Rage hits. He is able to get healed, and the rest of Penta are still looking good with their kill on Sheepa, starting to make things look up for them.
And finally isolating him, locking him down, getting rid of that Makoa gives him a little more room. And again, comeback mechanic. They have 3 tanks. This is stand on the point, put a Grok Totem down, throw a Mega Potion on me, and we are set. They still haven't used Reanimate, and they're kind of baiting him in. If anyone comes in, that's 4,000 damage to the face to Sour Team.
Yeah, that is, but the Reanimate does go through, but they kill Ovum almost immediately onto the drop of a dime. And as that happens, they are pushing them all the way back, not necessarily to their base, but forcing them to back off. Penta is on the back foot. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get past here with how low Khan is, but he got healed immediately by the Pip healing. But they're going to try and make their way back on the point. I don't know if they'll be able to do it, though. No, they won't. They actually won't.
Yeah, Sour Team, I think the biggest thing about that round and the way they change it is specifically they came into it recognizing last round we killed Terminus, and that was cool. He reanimated, and unfortunately for Uber Spada, he was just inside the range of the 4K damage that he got hit by it. If they don't lose their Drogos there, maybe the second round point fight goes a little different. But this time they're like, you know what? We're just not gonna kill him. Like, we're just gonna kill that guy, that guy, that guy, and that guy. And then if Terminus happens to still be around, maybe we'll go for him. But like, they made him stall that reanimate for so long.
Yeah, they definitely played extremely well though. Sour Team just so strong with just their pressure overall. So take a look at the post-game stats, and man, oh man, look at Perdo's damage.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, as much as I'm happy to see William Birkin and Uber Spade come back into the scene and be playing again, Perdo stole the show. I mean, 11-1 and 19, the 160k damage, like, that is something out of a Leon that we've seen on LAN very recently at MSI when they were here, but also just from him consistently. One of the things he's been able to do in the minor league and has usually been a little more easy to control for Penta, but today it got let off the chain.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of the Perdo replays as well. Like, we just want to see and highlight how well it was that he did. This is the triple kill it is that we saw before. You can talk a little bit about this one.
And this is, you know, I guess, like, the perfect way to start your game, first off.
Yeah, exactly,
but it's also the angle he was playing, and the fact that in a normal Bright March composition, in my mind, like, he doesn't get away with anywhere near the amount he got away with, especially in the first round, but also the second round and third round. Because look at the angle he's playing. He's always on the left side. He's always near apartments, and he's kind of running around in the field. Versus normal match, there's going to be an off-tank there. There's going to be a flank there. There's going to be someone fighting you apartment to apartment that you have to pay attention to, so the point fight is completely different. Like, he just had free reign of one half of the map, essentially, and no one really from Penta could do anything about it.
Yeah, just so much spatial control from the side of Sour Team. It was like once they knew that they got that kill, like, we did see the components that Penta's team had with just the death ball of, okay, we got this kill, now we can push our advantage forward, now we can keep moving, keep going, no matter the situation. But I think Sour Team just, they just played it, but they just knew exactly what to do.
It was one of those moments where they had an interesting draft on the side of Penta, and like the theory crafting behind it is all there, but it's that translation of paper to actuality. How does it actually function versus, you know, the theories behind it?
Yeah.
That it fell apart.
Oh yeah, I mean, Sour Team taking the first game. We'll have to see what Penta has in store for us the next to go around. Stay tuned after this break.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins minor league.
Welcome back from Game 1. Sour Team in pretty convincing fashion, taking game number 1 on Brightmarsh over Penta. There was maybe a little bit of merit to their composition on the Penta side, Kresnik, but in practice did not quite come out as maybe they would have expected.
I just wanted it to work. I
Right,
mean, when you have
sure.
a special comp like that, you know, you want something crazy like that to work out. But Sour Team just kept their distance. They knew how to deal with it. They had good tanks for living on point, but they just shot the point. They just kept shooting them, kept keeping their distance. Once they got those early picks, it just snowballed from there. Penta needed all their pieces to stay alive pretty much the whole time.
Well, if nothing else, Sour Team showed us that even though there's been some piece changes with Zerini notably going over to the Paladins Premier League, that they can still compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
Perdo, in this case, having a huge game on the Leon, big triple kill, 160,000 damage. That's what you look for on Sour Team. Is that lost in picks and bans if you're Penta, or not really?
I think that was a special strat they wanted to try it. I don't know whose map that was. They were second pick. They could have asked for second pick because they wanted to execute that strat. Sometimes you do stuff, it doesn't work. What's the important thing is that they reset and get ready for the next map moving forward.
Well, we'll get to see what map that's going to be as we look at map pick number 2 here. And it's going to be Jaguar Falls. They leaned into the Pip last time around. Honestly, you could pick something similar here if you're Penta. I don't know if you would want to. But in theory, something similar could work on Jaguar Falls.
Yeah, they could do it. The point's a little bit too open relatively. They have that room to the side they can kite over to.
Yeah.
But if we're just sitting directly on the point, I mean, there's too many ways I think to spam down. Like the Drogos again would be a fantastic pick specifically to deal with that. Penta did take first pick though, so I don't think that draft will be coming out again.
Yeah, you'd think not, especially with Leon being banned out. That's a pretty respect ban over to Perdo. I mean, Leon is so strong right now, but not so much in that need to ban column unless something like that just happened to you.
They could maybe want like a Drogue or a Willow or something. It could be open up that counter pick. I know I've been on a team with people who get when you get target banned. I know everyone in the chat's like, "Hey,
that's right,
like you did it,
right.
Woo!"
Well, it's a sign of respect.
Exactly.
I take that as respect. Nobody ever does that. To me,
I remember every time someone would ban BK when I was on a team with Neo. It was always just like, Neo, you did it again, man. Every time.
That's got to be a confidence booster, nonetheless. Either way, Ash Barrack being picked up here. Willow not banned out this time, getting picked up, though, for Sour Team.
Yeah, that's good. Really great pick with the Leon banned. I mean, not having that counter, that easy counter to your Faith Light, really opens it up. That ultimate has gotten a lot stronger since the last buff, being able to just get that constant spam with Blast Flower. The poke damage around corners, especially on a map with as many corners as Jag Falls, is just phenomenal.
Well, Penta have a very strong first 3 built out here with Ash, Genos, and Khan. And that's also not showing that much. If nothing else, they maybe have more of a standard build coming this time rather than the Grok, Pip, Terminus sort of flex that we saw last time around. But they're hiding a little bit from Sour Team. They're going to have to show their last 2 next round of picks here. Grover notably being picked up for Sour Team here. Maybe a Ruckus. Which, interestingly enough, I mean, Ruckus is kind of in a weird spot where he's sometimes in these games, again, maybe more of a player-dependent type of pick, but certainly has his place.
Yeah, we're going to see what DPSs he's going to be playing into. Tyra's going to be one of them. He's
could be triple tank.
All right on this map into Tyra, but not as good as he could be. It really depends. Like if he finds the opening, then yeah, if the Tyra's mispositioned, it's great. But until he finds that, he's gonna get marked and farmed pretty effectively.
I'm very scared if I'm a frontliner of any capacity on Sour Team. I'm terrified of not only Genos, not only Tyra hunting party with that Genos, but then you have Khan, Tyra, Drogos to make good on that damage. It's gonna be Ruckus and then Ruckus Jr. in the form of Vivian rounding out the Sour Team lineup here. They go, 2.5 DPS over on Sour Team. Quick thought, which team do you like the draft of better?
I think Sour Team took apart that draft really well. They used the bans well, and having Grover when they have Willow means that counter for that is gone. Their heal's going to be really effective.
Well, Sour Team's going to look to go back-to-back here with another win on Jaguar Falls. Penta looking for a win of their own. Game 2. Let's get it started.
Sour Team being up a point. On Jaguar Falls, whose comp do you like better? I'm genuinely curious, which is why I'm asking.
I actually think Penta have the stronger draft just because it picks apart what Sour Team have a little stronger. And it's also interesting because this is the kind of draft that I wasn't expecting to see for the next few weeks. I was expecting 2 aggressive tanks, then a DPS, maybe a Tyra, alongside that DPS. and then an IO, because like I'm looking at her as potentially being able to run like some tanky cards for a Fox, maybe run like a point tank and have aggro tanks and just overpower the other side. But you're going to get essentially the same kind of composition here, just without her.
Right, yeah.
Since she's not allowed yet.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait until we are actually able to see IO into this, into the not only the PPL, but PCL and PML, and it's going to be just an overall great experience. Uber's Payday is up here on the bridge. He's taking a few shots. He knows they're behind that corner. He does get a few onto the con. Already looking pretty low, a little bit less than half. The Drogos isn't not necessarily a bad spot, but he's about losing the same health as well. They are controlling it, like at least like they're controlling the space right now. But Perdo ends up getting the first kill on the Sizzy? Cizé.
It's going to be really solid for them, and it's an unfortunate shakeup. I think it's that moment. Vivian is the sole targeter of this Drogas, essentially. Like, Barrack's going to be able to get a few shots, Ruck is going to be able to get a few shots, but Vivian's job this game is going to be keep him under control. Whether or not you can is going to come up to it. Like, the first 30 seconds or so of the fight, you see him kind of running a little more rampant. He's having a little bit more damage, a little bit more of a boxing match between him and the Willow. But the one thing that kind of disappeared with Perdo, which was kind of surprising, is that they alleviated some of the point pressure, which is usually going to be Willow controlling that, but now they're right back to it.
Yeah, we see Sheepa and the rest of Sour Team are now moving in. The advantage has been shifted towards red, and they definitely get, not only does Sheepa get a double kill, but Uber's Payday gets one of his own. And Jopi being forced all the way back, but gets picked off by Perdo. He is waiting in the back line. Well, he's not necessarily waiting in the back line, but he is applying shots to people that are just trying to come out of their spawn to dismount.
Yeah, good couple of dismounts, but honestly, it's just going to be aggression. It opens up so much zone. I mean, look how much space is between where Penta are lined up right now inside their base and where that payload is. It's going to be able to get at least 40% of the way on a relatively smooth line. Might hit a few snags now that Perdo has fallen. It's going to open up a little bit more room for Penta to get aggressive, but I mean, Sour Team, their composition just kind of buys space. That's really all they need to. Yeah. With Willow, you deny the point, and then you just kind of control and corral them away from the objective as best you can with the other four.
Yeah, you see Uber's Payday and Sheepa over here on the right. They are getting some damage to the Geno, so he just pops immediately once Willow focuses him down with some blast damage. A direct hit ends up killing him. He is shooting some shots all the way into the back, flies up. The Fey Fly does go through, though. This might be the start of some really serious aggression from Sour Team.
Some really good shots, and this Fey Fly just being able to fly down. And honestly, what we're seeing right now is, I think, the result of the splash damage buff that Willow got, where it's just a little more damage on the outer edge of the blast. One of the things Willow always... The best thing about her was dead zone. And it was, like, hands down. Like, her mobility was okay at best. Her ult was okay at best. And while Seedling is really good, it does have that charge time. Again, it's just kind of a denial of area. The buffs they give her to her mobility makes her feel really fluid, but that damage buff makes her be a blaster just well enough that she can hang out with the Drogos, with the Bomb Kings.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, man. Like, it's like Penta really woke up that last push, that seemingly last push from Sour Team. The boot from Ashe, the kinetic burst, was just so strong, knocks him right off the side. Sheepa goes down. The rest of them just sort of swarm in. They do use a lot of ultimates for that. Crossfire's gone, Dragon Punch. Assert Dominance was used at some point during that fight, but it is down as well, but they're still slowly building. The time and space is there. And Overpower's going to be up soon.
The through time and space is the one that it's an interesting key because it can either open, or I guess shut the door in Sour Team's face, or you could save it for the next round and see what you can get in terms of a couple picks. There's going to be a Dome Shield coming down from Sour Team just to maintain. There's still 12 seconds left on the clock before overtime. William Birkin's starting to feel the brunt of the damage, getting his health burned down, maybe a little bit precariously left.
Yeah, we do see that. Jonas ends up killing the Grover. Perdo gets a kill on the Ashe. Now Ovum's looking like he's super low, and they do end up picking him off. 3 individuals on Penta are down. They do manage to kill William Birkin, but the rest of them just pretty much file directly on the point and just tidy their hands up, push it right in, and that will be 2 points for them.
And it's fights like this on the side. That's a very, very good assert dominance to be able to get the kill. Nice knockoffs and control. But it's fights on this side that really, like, if you win them, much like that, where Coriel is the aggressor, then it's very easy to find a defense. But
Yeah.
that last round, that's where they kind of lost that pressure. And so even though you're trying to focus William Birkin down, get rid of him, and set yourself up to just make it so this payload won't move forward, you lose 2-3 members there on the side, and then all of a sudden it doesn't matter that William Birkin's gone. They can just use Uber's Payday to push the payload in.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at the scores there. It was like William Birkin was 0-2, but he was 0-2 and 5. Don't forget that. Like, his presence has definitely been made. Like, he's definitely making his presence known. Like, it's hard to be able to fight Barrick off of these point fights. A lot of people with their talents as well. Like, they're just starting to slowly come online. 2 points already, but William Birkin is the first one to go down thanks to Drogos. Now Penta's going to be able to force them back now that they've pretty much lost a very pivotal member of their team.
And it's going to be good control, and honestly, with this kind of composition, they might honestly have just secured themselves a point fight with that. There's going to be a time to regroup, but you have to be very aggressive to retake it. Luckily for Sour Team, they do have some good point tanks and good aggression on their side to be able to get back in there and find some control and knock away Penta.
Oh, man, but Penta going into such a bad spot. The triple kill. I mean, the quadra kill coming up from Uber's back. Oh, my gosh, I was about to actually flip out. I thought that he was going to get the Penta kill, but Perdot ended up picking that one up. My goodness, Penta funneled themselves into that area, and Uber's Payday already knew that they were right there. He just started pumping all of this crazy damage into that choke point. So well done by Sour Team. It was looking so good for Penta, but now they have to use the crossfire. They have to use the ultimates, but they still cap the point anyway, trading not only 1-for-1, but 2 more go down the side of Penta. Very desperate attempt to try and make sure they can at least cause an overtime. Wasn't enough, though. So well played by Sour Team.
And that's twice in a row, essentially, that just decisions out of Penta didn't quite hit, I think, what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
There was that moment, like, just the shots Uber's Payday was getting down onto the Ash was enough damage to kind of make him question. You see him dash away. And that's when, 4 members of Penta were in a single hallway on a staircase in one of the side rooms there around the point.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you, against any blaster, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But against a Bomb King and a Willow, that's probably the worst case scenario you could set up for your team.
Exactly.
Or best case there. Of course, I think the civility between the teams means that maybe Uber's Payday isn't quite yet yelling at Perdot for taking away the Penta, but they're still happy with their 3 points up. You use and burn majority of the ults from Penta. Yeah, they've recharged them, but I mean, you get everything you wanted and maybe more if you're Sour Team in that last
100%. Yeah, I mean, Sour Team barely used any ultimates, and just as I say that, they do good using the Fae Fly. Uber's Payday wants to go in. He sees one, and immediately the Tyra goes down. Ash might be the next one, as she is. The double kill, followed by 2 more. The Sour Team cleaning it up, forcing Drogos all the way back to his spawn, unable to leave, but Dragon Punch, Overpower, Assert Dominance, through time and space, all of them are available, and Crossfire now.
Well, now they're starting to break the base. This is actually where it gets incredibly dangerous. Sour Team are locking you down. They're dismounting you just outside of your base, and you're coming out at half health. You're getting too many shots hitting just before you actually get through. And with 43 seconds left, it's coming around the last corner.
Yeah, it is. They use the Dome Shield to make sure they can actually push in the payload. Ovum goes down. Perdot gets stunned. The rest of Sour Team are trying to do it. The Dragon Punch, he just melts him. Uses everything with that Hexafire to make sure that he actually goes down. So well done by Sour Team, man. A clean 4-0 and a 2-0 at that, more than anything.
I mean, they played that last point fight went about as perfect for a point fight that you could ever possibly have. Not only getting a quadra kill, not only having 4 members stack up on top of each other when you're playing Willow, but then you also burn every single, well, not every single, 3 out of the 5 ults that they had available for Penta the minute your push starts. That gets you off to good footing. Then they recharged and used them all almost again, right? And it's just the retake. Everything that Sour Team did was right. It was just good.
Yeah, I mean, really, what else could you say about that? Like, they played it so well. And looking at the charts here, man, I mean, like, it's just watching Sour Team play is always so interesting. It's like a surgeon. It's like once they take a piece of a team out, or once they take the advantage, it's like everything just starts going in their favor. They know how to push an advantage more than most of the teams it is that I've seen. More than most of them.
One of those things, I mean, when you're looking at it, yes, they've lost a couple of the big, long veteran names. You've still got Sheepa and Perdot, and you still have them making very, very good executive decisions from the top down for this team. And Uber's Payday is a name, obviously, we mentioned a lot through that one, 12-1-6, but he has been in this scene for a long time. I mean, you go back long enough, and you're going to see the Team B5 and the CIS PGS, and you're going to see Ovim, Uber's Payday, I believe Madara, who's playing on a different team. Like, a lot of the guys who have been around this scene for a long time in Europe, who have been very successful, have been very, very good players, are coming back, and they are making sure that you remember why they were so renowned in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, like, and here's where everything went wrong. Penta grouping up in such a short and tiny space is what allowed Uber's Payday to get that quadra. Not a Penta, but a quadra nevertheless. Still so well played by them. Like, that's the second time that we've seen them just push so far forward. When they know that they have it, when they know they have a fight, they just go.
And it's that awareness, being able to recognize that scenario. Like, the minute they need to get aggressive, they're like, we're going in. Like, there was no hesitation, there was no qualms about it. They just, let's go.
Yeah. Such a convincing 2-0 from Sour Team. Don't go anywhere yet. We'll be right back with the PML after this break.
INAP, powering the control room for the Paladins minor league.
Welcome back in after Game 2 is just as convincing as Game number 1. Sour Team, they're on a roll today, 4-0 on Jaguar Falls. A little bit of a different story this time around, though, Kresnik, in that Uber's Payday was really the name to look at this time. Perdo kind of ran away with Game number 1 on the Leon, but that Willow this game was something else.
Yeah, that Tyra Drogos, I don't think it was enough to counter the Willow. There was just there's not enough range. He could play kind of far back. They couldn't make it through the chokes. The Barrack was just too hard to kill. That Grover also, again, picked up with the Willow. Removing that counter really just allows him to sustain through all those walls. They can play spread. I loved Sour Team's draft, and they executed it perfectly.
I mean, this is now tough for Penta. I mean, obviously with the roster swaps, all that going on, I mean, it's a different team, but you come into this fresh off an MSI victory over NIP, and you cannot hold your own today here against Sour Team. So maybe something will change in map number 3, but we'll have to dive in and see what that's going to be. It is going to be Stone Keep, but I mean, you, like I said, you go 4-1 on Bright Marsh, at least you get a point there, but then 4-0 on Jaguar Falls. They're kind of reeling right now and need to figure something out to keep them in these games. Yeah,
they're just going to have to, I think they have to think about their bans a little bit more, because yes, they banned Leon, but they didn't really end up with a draft that I felt was like, man, thank God they banned Leon. Like, they got the Drogos, but it's Jaguar Falls. There's places to hide. Willow is a more effective pick in that situation.
Right. Does a lot of the same that Sour Team has been bringing over the last couple of games still work here? I mean, can they literally change nothing about their draft and maybe expect to win here on Stone Keep?
As long as they play it differently, I think. I mean, it's a different map. You're going to have to position a little more around that high ground, around maybe that church side. If you get us a more sustain-focused comp, I would probably pick a healer other than Grover on this map, personally, just because the pushes are so wide. You can get away with it, but your team kind of gets shoehorned into a specific position style. So we'll see how they do it. Khan going first for Penta. Someone I used to not like on this map as much, but once you figured out how you play inside the church, I think I've started liking it a lot better.
Well, why is that? Just doesn't have his instant executes like you might on other maps where you can toss
I just don't like
or?
the height differential with his shield. Okay. I think it's too easy to shoot over him when you lose high ground.
Well, absolutely makes sense, but still a strong pick nonetheless. If the overpowers are connecting, that's an insta-give for anyone on the opposite side, provided that you play it properly. Excuse me. Khan, Cassie, maybe a victor here for Penta. I mean, last game they come out with double frontline. One of them is a Khan, and then you pair it with a Genos. On paper, you're thinking there's no way, especially when you drop the Tyra in beneath it. But that was just and then Drogos. I mean, that's a strong 5. On like I said, on paper, you assume that they're going to win that game. Does not go their way at all. They do go the victor this time, which we have seen on Stone Keep a little bit. Good, consistent, sit back and deal some damage.
Yeah, his ability to just get dismounts too from the platform outside of fire to the enemy banana, really strong.
Sure.
Ability to chase damage around corners with nades. And Barrage is just really good on last because once you're pushing the final point, there's really not that much cover.
Right.
And most of the time you can usually get 1 or 2 hits with the Barrage, and it helps to confirm a lot. Victor's historically been great on Stone Keep.
Grover as well has been a somewhat Stone Keepy pick. Of course, that big healing, think of it as a cylinder, goes up. If you want to fight on that keep side, you're going to be getting nice and healed up on top as long as you're hanging around the Grover. Maybe rounding things out with a Barrack here. All right, so now we see Penta's 5. Last draft looked good for them. Does this one still look good? It just depends on if they can play it.
They're going to have to be a little pokey. That Khan might end up getting kind of caught out because of how defensive they're going to have to be, I think, with Cassie Victor. The Cassie can pressure a bit, but she's just not going to be able to be followed up with the Grover. He's going to have to go too far to keep her alive. I like Sour Team's draft here, especially with the Ash Furia Bomb King aggression.
I do as well. Sour Team have a great draft, maybe rounding this one out 3-0. Game 1, 4-1. Game 2, 4-0. Game 3, send it down to your casters to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really expecting, like, how Sour Team's been playing, man. Like, no disrespect to Penta, but I'm expecting to see a 3-0. Like, actually, like, it's just there. It's not that Penta's playing bad. Sour Team's just playing really good.
Well, and again, Penta are coming into this. They have two subs today.
Yeah.
And if I am looking at it right, literally none of the people that are here today right now were on the team that was winning at MSI, right? 3 of them obviously picked up into the PPL. And then the others that are left, I think Xentra is listed as a coach here. And unfortunately, I believe Bolka, not quite showing up today, is being subbed out for Joppy. So, like, all the people that you expect to see and kind of have expected from this team from Split 1 currently are not there, except for Ovim, who is a game changer in and of himself, but it's not quite the same. You still need a little bit of time to synergize.
Yeah, oh man, the rest of Sour Team, nice wall to stop the Commander's grab. Khan being forced all the way back. The kinetic burst, though, actually puts him a little bit over the wall, but the shield is definitely breaking. And the Victor, man, just did so much damage to Sheepa just now. Almost pops him immediately. Does force them to actually back off a little bit. So our team having to give Penta a little bit of respect.
Now, I'm really excited to see this. Not only is this one of the few Bomb Kings we've seen here in Phase 2 of the year, but also it's just coming down to the fact that Uber's Payday is one of those guys. He's a very good counter to Khan in terms of Bomb King versus those champions, but also Uber's Payday is one of those guys who's been playing it for a long time. He knows exactly what to do, and this is a good map for him if you can control the high ground. This is probably exactly where he wants to be, exactly the kind of targets he wants to go against. They're all half health, and so it's just leading up to him finding success.
Yeah, man, the damage is coming through on the side of Sour Team, but the Cassie managed to flank all the way around, but Uber's Payday actually launched himself right into Penta's base. Does get picked off, but that was such a good disengaged shot from Cassie. She almost kills him, but they do get the kill. She almost kills him herself, but doesn't find it, but he does end up dead, though. Sour Team, 51% on the point with Penta's 96.
It was honestly some of the most impressive Bomb King movement I think I've seen on any map. I mean, that Poppy Bomb was perfect to get him around the corner. If Now hadn't been able to turn around, it might have been a different story, but as it is right now, you're seeing the same thing that we saw out of Victor yesterday. He's doing a ton of damage, and he's already charged up his ult.
Yeah, he's already forcing Bomb King to back off just a little bit. The Enlightenment, I believe, came through. Doesn't find anybody. Double kill for Victor. He's now going to start pushing up and making sure that the rest of the team can actually push forward, but it doesn't matter. Penta does capture the first point.
They're going to be able to get themselves on the board for the first time since Brightmarsh overall. I mean, that 4-0 last map definitely did not feel very comfortable, with the 6-0-3 now on this Victor is definitely kind of helping things, I think, keep going forward by a little bit. Verdo not having the same Leon performance we saw earlier as well, so slowing things down for Sour Team, what has been a tremendous role for them, and kind of giving some of that momentum over to Penta, letting them kind of ride it for this, at least this round.
Yeah, we're seeing that Victor here is peering behind the corner, just taking a few shots. and just getting some damage off into the Anar, forcing her back a little bit, at least forcing her not to peek as much. Perdot in the back line, that's super low. Nice wall coming out from Anar. Barrick is stuck there just for a little bit, but the rest of Sour Team are already pressuring the right flank. They want to make sure they can fight. They want to go in, or at least make sure that Penta doesn't have such an easy time pushing his payload.
Standing up on the balcony, he's a good couple of shots. Not enough to find any kills. It's going to be a really interesting assert dominance on Coriel, but he's going to be able to toss Ash out of there. And unfortunately for Sheepa, that ult's not going to kind of do what it was intended to do. He doesn't stay alive as long as he wants to. And even though Sour Team have been on a tear these last 2 games, this is a completely different performance.
Yeah, it is. The damage coming through from Khan as well. He was able to... Oben was the one that ended up picking up the kill, but he was able to get a lot of damage onto Leon. He does end up picking him off. Sheepa holding this top bridge, applying some damage to... He knows that Khan and Cassie are both over. Oh, man. That was so close. Sheepa barely lived that. He is in a good spot, though, with our Sour Team. And Uber's Payday going down. Nice boop right off the map. Grover cannot contest that at all. He didn't have his vine grip up, I should say. And he is applying some damage. He's getting body blocked a little bit, but the healing for Furia, that time the disengage bolt does actually apply to Sheepa. He does end up flying off the map.
Second time's the charm. All you have to do is lock him down. He still tries to go for the dash. Almost had it, but that's one of those moments you have to be anticipating that pretty much as it happens, maybe a little bit before, as the King Bomb's going to be rolling out. Looking for somebody, but everyone's just falling back. We'll find Coriel, and that should, well, doesn't result in the kill. Should have resulted in a kill, and that honestly might just be what Penta need to be able to stay alive in this and find themselves a push.
Yeah, I mean, Sheep's holding this corner right here. He knows that there are a few individuals that are going to try and flank. He wants to hold behind here. It gives him a good look at main and on this left flank right now. 4 seconds left onto the clock. Penta has to really find a way to actually get in there to try and cash his payload in.
I mean, a good kill on the Ovum is definitely going to be a great way to start the fight off. Coriel locked onto the high ground as of right now, but they're still dancing around in overtime. William Birkin, though, is kind of commanding the objective, which is probably the worst case scenario when you're the aggressing team. You do not want the defensive tank controlling your zone.
William Birkin getting a double kill of his own, forcing Victor all the way back. Sour Team does manage to get a successful defense against Sour Team.
Now, originally one of the points I wanted to make was looking at the King Bomb, and when it was charged up, I think it's one of those tools that it's really good to find a defense, but it's really good to help close out a point fight. Using that when they did, and really not finding anything out of it, kind of leaves some big question marks next to Sour Team for this round, whether or not they can confirm the kills they want to, if they can control the ground the way they want to. They're still going to have the Inflame, which Bomb King Inflamed is still insane. Sheepa has his assert dominance. Perdot is going to have Enlightenment. They have what they need to secure a couple kills, but it does feel like it's kind of teetering on the edge. I'm not as sure about Sour Team as I was the first time around.
Yeah, they... like Penta such a commanding lead earlier on into the game. Sour Team just opting to go for the same strategy they did before. The same wall, almost in the same spot. The Enlightenment followed by the Assert Dominance, followed by, well, not the Enlightenment, sorry, the Inflame, followed by the Assert Dominance does actually cause him to go all the way in. Uber's Payday does find a kill, but not before they are traded 1 for 1. He goes down, followed by the Cassie. The rest of Sour Team want to make sure they can actually kill the ones left on the payload.
A couple of good shots from Ineffable here, kind of keeping the team rolling forward as they come through. These stuns have been perfect. Actually, no, running the Solar Blessing talent, so it is going to be healing on those beams instead, which is even better for William Birkin being able to hold this aggression. They can get right in their face, and they have no worries in the world. That 5,000 health is going to be sitting at 5,000 a lot of this game.
Yeah, man, the Cassie just got melted along with the Victor. It was like Anar suddenly had no health, and all of a sudden it was just healed right back up thanks to Furious healing and just the Solar Blessing. He's doing so well on Sour Team, man. Like, the Enlightenment is still up. Inflame along with King Bomb are on their way. And not there yet, though. 81% on the payload, well, on the point for Sour Team.
Being able to catch those beams is just so important, but it's also a little clustery for the fight for Sour Team. You can see it kind of giving them a little bit of control and taking away some of their control all in one go. But Coriel going to be able to get the touch, keep this overtime alive for a little bit. That's not going to be enough.
Khan dropping immediately onto the point, and the rest of Penta trying to at least cause some sort of disarray. They try make sure they can get the overtime. They do find what did they find it right there, Core? Actually,
yeah.
They did. Okay, I was making. Yeah, they did actually find the overtime, but it wasn't enough for them to be able to stay in the fight. And man, Ovum getting staggered right now. It's going to be really, really hard for Penta to really be able to push up and try and combat this. Now that Sour Team's in the driver's seat, it's so rare we see them lose momentum.
Now the change that I'm interested to see is, one, where if King Bomb doesn't get a kill instantly, if he doesn't connect on like Cassie or Victor, who follows up with him in terms of damage if they use it? But also, what can Sour Team do, considering the 2 fights I've seen them win pretty big have both been in-flame fights? Like, what can they do without it? How much pressure can they garnish without having to worry about this Furia ult being available? They have a ton of healing, they have a ton of control otherwise, but they need to do something with all of that.
The damage is coming through indeed. Sheepa taking a few... just taking a few pot shots right there at the con. Not necessarily finding anything, though. I do see him shoulder bash all the way in. They start dominance to come through. They do get stunned, followed by the seismic crash to make sure it actually follows through. But the overpower ends up killing the Ash. Very, very unfortunate. Barrage comes through as well. Uber's Payday has to make sure that he's actually behind the wall. Doesn't want to get killed in this situation. Do trade 1 for 1, but Perdo goes down soon after that. So our team forced off, but they do only have a minute left, so they have plenty of time.
And I like the call. It was one of those things where if that's an overtime fight, then you see King Bomb charge up, he rolls in and tries to stun, kill off anybody and everybody that's in his way. You see a minute left on the clock, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to back off over here. I'm going to go heal up, group up with my team, let them figure it out. Wait for your tanks to get back and find a way for Sheepa to potentially get back in there. Unfortunately, with the Assert Dominance going the way it did, it found a lot of good damage, a lot of good stuns, but it's down now. You don't have that same performance, but you do have the Inflame.
Oh, man. The Inflame does come through, and the rest of Sour Team just steamroll what's remaining of Penta, forcing Cassie all the way back into her spawn. They're not going to let her through. So well done by Sour Team. Once again, man, like, I feel like it's so awesome seeing Furia on Sour Team, because, like, purely because we know they're a very aggressive team and they know how to use momentum.
Yeah.
But seeing the Inflame coupled with just how they play naturally, just it's scary. It's really scary.
Dialing everything up to an 11.
Right, exactly.
It's just making them a little bit more deadly all the time. Well, not all the time, but whenever the ult is available for a good chunk of 8 seconds in a fight, which is an eternity in Paladins in game. But the other thing I think is very impressive with it is coming down to the fact that it is the Solar Blessing. It is beam heals instead of going for the Cherish that we've seen a little bit more recently. And it's just that amount of healing onto an Inara is almost impossible to displace. Like, you have a better chance of bursting her down in the 2 seconds, which is impossible on an Inara, than you do of actually being able to burn through that healing.
Right, the King Bomb comes through, does find a stun. They do manage to kill the con. Uber's Payday has to push in. Well, not just Uber's Payday, but the rest of Sour Team have to make sure they actually push in, try and get some damage off. They do see the Scout actually comes through. They trade 1 for 1. Ovum goes down along with Perdo. And really, this is like not necessarily a stalemate, but Penta's having to give them respect until their teammates come back.
I mean, it's that awkward moment. All you had to do was lose one of your aggressive tanks, or even 2 tanks at the beginning, and it's not, and it's enough to hold you back. I mean, that's 60% now here for Sour Team, and they haven't really done anything crazy flashy. They've just been holding you back the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, Penta trying to push in. Perdo gets another kill. Cassie does go down. Ovum has to get onto the point to try and do what he can. It's not going to be enough, though. The rest of Sour Team, they pop the Inflame. They want to cash this one in. The overtime timer cannot stay up any longer, and it does not. It goes down. Sour Team takes it convincingly over 3-0's Penta.
I'm going to, not only do they get the 3-0, but also extra bonus points to Ovum for the style of that Inara skin with the wings on it. Just looked really cool on point. That was a really cool end screen, and that's really where my mind was at. But Leon, like the flank they go for, like now was a lot of the reprieve there for Penta on the Victor. Like at the beginning of the game during the initial rounds, it was very much these, I'm finding the shots, I'm finding kills, like I'm controlling at least some semblance of this fight. At the very end, all you get to see is him getting just popped by this Leon with an Inflame on her back, and there was almost no room for him to wiggle. Yeah,
it was like Sour Team, man. Like, can only say it once before it just gets old, right? About how their momentum is so strong. And taking a look at the post-game stats here, some good damage coming out from Uber's Payday and Perdo, but I mean, like, you can't talk about those who are talking about the rest of their team. Like, that Furia was so impactful, and you brought it up during one of the fights, too. Having that Solar's Blessing, that healing onto an Inara, no matter the cauterize, I feel like that is almost, like, I agree, that is near impossible.
And I mean, you can see, like, the highest cauterize they got now did get to tier 3, a bunch of tier 2s, but even at tier 3, you're looking at this going down from essentially 6,000 a second to 600 a second. That's a Ying ult still at base when you have cauterize 3. And so hitting William Birkin, hitting Sheepa with that, is already impressive, but Ineffable was able to do a lot that we see, like I want to say, out of Mr. Hayes, going 6-3 and 16, like a lot of good kills on the Fury as well, impactful there. But the thing the damage chart doesn't track, I would count every damage his teammates do while Inflame is up is damage he's doing.
Right,
That's damage
exactly.
he's enabled for them.
Exactly. You just see him really just tearing it up, man, being there at the right spot at the right time, just helping his team out. I mean, man, oh man, like right there, like you see that it just gets dropped immediately onto the Inara, and it is so hard for them to kill that, even with Dome Shield and everything. Like, they're still there.
I mean, you get Inara, who has, what, 40% damage reduction, who has bonus healing when she pops her Earthen Guard. Then you add on a 6,000 per second heal.
Right.
Granted, it's only in this one area and you have to catch the beam, but as long as you're as coordinated as Sour Team is, it links up perfectly.
Yeah, man, oh man, such a dominating game just in general from Sour Team. Like, I don't want to keep harping on the Furia, but it's like that was just what was so impactful overall just for Sour Team, just being able to have that healing, have the Inflame at the right place at the right time. With that being such a convincing 3-0 from Sour Team, hopefully you guys will still be here when you tune in for the second set of the PML today.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins minor league.